reach the station at all. Then, in the train, he sat next to Harding, might indeed be said almost to sit over him, and went on with a long cheerful proclamation about potatoes and beans and cabbages, shouting it all out at the top of his voice in rivalry with the noisy train. If there was one thing in the world that Harding detested, it was talking against a train, he himself having a rather small, shrill voice, which was not at its best when it was unduly raised, as he very well knew. Then this horrible man stuck closely to him at Hammersmith, marched down the platform with him, pushed past the ticket collector, marched up the other platform, and sat over him once again in the tube. He went all the way with him to Leicester Square, and would, Harding believed, have followed him to his bookshop, had he not managed to lose him in the crowd. Work was spoiled for Harding that day. Whenever he tried to think clearly, that man's booming voice seemed to get in the way. His large, bushy, black moustache seemed to whisk up and down the bookshelves, and his broad, aggressive chest overshadowed the customers. Harding had not been encouraging, but nevertheless, next day, there was the man again, darting down the steps with a, "Well, good morning, how are we today?" So that Harding, who detested to be called we, was so deeply annoyed that he murmured that he had forgotten something, hurried back to his house again, and was 20 minutes late at the bookshop. This was how it began, and every day now the poor little man was overshadowed by this horrible stranger. This horrible man's name was Tonks, and he had something to do with vegetables. He had no children, and was thinking of marrying again, but couldn't quite make up his mind. He gave his reluctant companion most unpleasant and intimate details of his earlier married life. He had an especially disagreeable habit of putting his hand on little Harding's shoulder. The really strange thing was that Tonks seemed to have no particular liking for any other of the numerous company who went down to the city at that same hour, day by day. There were, as Harding complained, any number of men who would have been delighted with Tonks's confidences, but Tonks appeared to wish to have none of these, and Harding, being a modest little man, could only explain this as a quite definite persecution, deliberately indulged in by Tonks for his own especial annoyance. Now the passion of Harding's life was his bookshop. He thought about it all day, slept with it all night, ate it at every meal, and was never so happy as when he was imagining wonderful plans for its future. These plans were not really of a literary kind. His vision and dream was an enormous shop containing thousands and thousands and thousands of volumes. Room succeeded room. Rows and rows of bookshelves towered up into the mysterious mists of the ceiling. There were so many books that nobody knew how many there were, nor ever would know, and with this sense of size and multitude went also a keen pleasure in what may vulgarly be called spotting the winner. Harding never went to horse races. As he once explained to a friend, he did his horse racing in the bookshop. This was just at the time when there was a passion, both in America and England, for modern first editions, and Harding had a special catalogue of modern firsts, of which he was immensely proud. This catalogue might have been better, and he would certainly have made more money had he gone in for quality rather than quantity. But he loved his catalogues to be large and full of important names. He had a list of modern writers, and used to mark them up and down in this list, week by week, according to the value of the moment. At one time it would be, we will say, Drinkwater and Delamere, who were going to win the literary stakes, and his modern catalogue that quarter will be full of Drinkwaters and Delameres, a great many of them of no value at all. But he would put little mystical notes under the items like very scarce or rare in this state, and then hope for the best. Nothing pleased him so much as when somebody came into his shop and asked for some tawdry novel, and was then lured by him into a consideration of rare firsts. He loved to see them open their eyes in wide amazement as he explained.